Namaste, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Namaste. So many are not coming today. Not many. Purna will not be available this morning. And both my sister and my niece are also going to be available. So on that note, let's start with 3 ohms. Please take a deep breath. Namaste, Namo Namaha, depending on where you are. I'm going to share the screen before we go into anything else. I want to ask all of you, if this picture, if this model is, you're able to understand this model fully. So this blue box, the 2 blue boxes are us. And the yellow box, the yellow big yellow rectangle is this physical world as marked here. And we are all here. So in this here, the blue box is the physical body that we have. And the one above that marked C1 are those vibrations, electromagnetic vibrations, which has come from this chitta here. A copy of that came down into this body. Whether all of it is here or only some of it is here, we don't have to worry about it right now. So for now, we'll assume the entire full copy of that is here, which has come, and which is, you should not think of it that it is in the brain. It is existing as vibrations. How we understand the signals going from a cell phone to another cell phone, how it is traveling in the media as electromagnetic waves. That is how the entire chitta is residing in our head or in some parts of the body as electromagnetic waves. The chitta here in zone B exists as scalar waves. I have talked about this in the class. It is not electromagnetic waves, it exists as scalar waves. And we also talked about the fact that upon death, when these electromagnetic vibrations leave the body upon death, it takes about 3 to 4 hours for all the electromagnetic vibrations to leave the body. And then after it leaves the body, it takes another 12 days for the electromagnetic vibrations to convert itself into scalar waves before it can merge and update this. Okay, so it has to convert itself from electromagnetic waves to scalar waves before it can merge. Sumati, can you please mute yourself, please? So this process of electromagnetic waves converting itself to scalar waves, it is supposed to take about 12 days. And that's the reason why, as in Sanatana Dharma, we have these big ceremonies, that we have this long 12-day ceremony, trying to help. When we say departed soul, the departed soul is partly existing electromagnetic waves and partly it is existing as scalar waves. It is all getting converted. So unless it becomes fully scalar waves, it cannot go up and merge from where it came from. Correct? Is understood? So that is why we have all these 12 days of ceremonies that we conduct. So while doing these ceremonies, or if we don't do these ceremonies, or this chitta is having lot of attachments, both the chitta and its other, let me say, I have too many attachments with my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my other relatives, friends. So it is very difficult for the chitta upon death to convert itself to scalar waves. That is why it is necessary. That is why we have all these different stages in life, vanaprasthi, sannyasa, and all that. As a sannyasa, it is very easy for the electromagnetic waves to convert itself into scalar waves and merge. I'm not saying merging with Ishvara, but merging here. I'm sorry, into this chitta here. Okay. So for those chittas that have too much of attachments, we do this 12 days of various ceremony to release them. So the ceremonies, whoever is doing the ceremony and whoever is partaking in that ceremony, the close family, must do it with a sense of letting go of the departed soul. That must be the attitude of letting go. Because if you don't let go, it cannot go there, it cannot, so it is going to be floating around here. Somewhere here, it is going to be floating around. And that's what we call as ghosts, right? Spirits, ghosts, that's what we call. So it is essential to let go. And also it is essential for elders, meaning anyone over 55, 60, to get into this vanaprasthi state where you begin to detach. You can stay at home. I'm not saying you have to run to Himalayas. I'm saying at home, you have to start detaching yourself completely. And when you completely detach, you become a sannyasi. Actually, in India, if you are a declared sannyasi, if you are taken saffron, if you start wearing saffron clothes or whatever, sannyasis, they don't do these 12 days of ceremonies because they have already detached. Nothing is needed for them if they are true sannyasis. With me, people? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay. Yes? Understood. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we have to, upon death, I have to go and merge here. And for me to do that, I have to do some work here, meaning I have to detach myself. To a great extent, it is dependent on me. And knowing that I may not be doing this fully, the children do these ceremonies to help me to detach. And if these children also don't have that understanding and they stick on saying, how I mean, my parent is passing away at the age of 80 or 85 or 90 or 95, and still I don't want to let them go. So all these things arise from avidya. So at whatever age the parent leaves, it could be at the age of 40, it could be at 50, it could, yeah, at 40 and 50, yes, 60 or even 70 or even 80 or even 90. Yeah, it is, there is a certain amount of grief, there is a pain, all that is there. And if they pass away at a younger age, it is even more. But one has to understand this. This is part of Sanatana Dharma that we have to know. So I'm going in detail because all of you must understand this fully. Why we are doing ceremonies, why it is necessary that we detach while we are alive. We have to do this work. And that's why I keep on talking about detachment. So in the yellow zone, we exist as electromagnetic vibration. When we say we, I'm talking about the chitta. I don't want to associate myself with the physical body. This is just a temporary thing. So whenever I say I or we, I'm only referring to the chitta. Please understand this clearly. That's why I keep telling all of you, see everyone as a chitta. Then the charge, if they say something that you don't like, will not be there. That expectation will not be there if you see every physical body as a chitta and not as a physical body. Acceptance and expectations, these are the two huge things that one has to work on. And acceptance, when you start accepting more, actually expectations will fall. They are inversely proportional. And as you drop more expectations, the more acceptance. More acceptance, more detachment. And more detachment, more less expectation. Because detachment and expectation are inversely proportional to expectations. With me? These are the things that one has to fully understand. So we exist as scalar waves here, and we exist as electromagnetic vibrations here in the physical world. The chitta exists as electromagnetic vibrations. So the conversion upon death takes about 12 days, maybe faster. So it takes about approximately 12 days on an average. So this is statistically we are saying. That is why those 12 days of ceremonies are done. All these different things, Prakriti, cosmic chitta, that is Vasudeva, who's launching all these chittas on behalf of Prakriti. All these things that you see here, they all exist as scalar waves, right? But as far as Sattva Purusha is concerned, zone A, we don't know how he is existing, right? Scalar wave, electromagnetic wave, or alpha wave, or beta wave, we don't know. He is beyond all this. He is beyond all karma kleshas. But he does speak. He does communicate in scalar waves. How does he communicate? In the first chapter we saw he communicates through pranava, om, the sound of om, right? The sound of om. So he communicates through that sound or through that scalar frequency. Is this clear? Any questions here? Are there any questions?
No, there are no questions.
Okay, good. If there are no questions, I'm going to close this panel. You must fully be conversant with this model. you cannot have doubts in this, because this is the foundation on which we are talking all the sutras, and now we are showing the sutras here, and with the model we are understanding the sutras. It is two-way, so you have to understand this very, very clearly. Okay, I'm going to stop this share, and I'm going to bring up okay. This was another one that we saw last week. Another diagram that we saw. Okay, this is what we saw last week. That an understanding of how these sanskaras are formed, that is, the karma patterns are formed. So we come, when we are launched for the first time, we come here with that initial klesha. We know all the 5 kleshas, which are avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, and abhinivesha. We come with those 5 which are marked here: avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, and the sutra numbers are also marked here. So what he's saying, if you look a little closely at this diagram, okay, so if you look a little closer, you can see these are in dotted lines and some of them are in solid lines, correct? The raga and dvesha, you can see them as solid lines. So what he's basically saying is, sanskaras, the karma, is generally formed, is primarily the cause for that are the ones with the solid lines. So raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes. So those are the 2 components in us, which is actually the mind. The mind classifies everything as raga and dvesha, good and bad, pure and impure, all that it does. So raga, dvesha are the 2 components which gives rise to sanskara. It is okay if it is classifying, but then we react based on that. That is what causes the karma, really speaking. If we don't react, no problem. I'm going to reduce this so that I can show you the rest of the things. Okay, good enough. So here, avidya. If you see, avidya is leading to a very big box, and into this, the input of avidya, along with whatever in the very first birth, we are not going to have any sanskaras, correct? We are not having any sanskaras. So, but avidya, just by itself, because avidya we saw as the one that is providing the support for all the other 4 types, correct? So the moment avidya is removed, all the other 3, literally raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, asmita, we need to experience things. So for an argument's sake, let us leave it at 4. All the others follow it. But avidya by itself, because it is the lack of correct perspective, that's what avidya is. Because of the lack of correct perspective, we see impermanent things as permanent, and impure things as pure. suffering, dukkha, sukha, all that we do. And we also think of non-asmita as asmita, correct? That which is not anatma, sorry, not asmita, anatma, that is that which is not our that which is not our core, that which is not our swadharma. We see that as our atmic thing, that we see that as our core thing. That which is not our swadharma, we see it as a swadharma because we are confused, or the avidya is making us do all that. So the lack of correct perspective, because of that, what happens? Because we are not acting in our swadharma, we are going to be engaged in adharmic activities. Supposing I am supposed to be, let us say, a school teacher, a middle school teacher up to 8th grade. But because of greed and avarice and the push in my family, I somehow get a job in some big accounting company or whatever, or in a bank or wherever, or in a factory. But that is not my swadharma. So every day is a struggle for me. How will I be at peace, and how will I have happiness? And because of that, since I'm engaged in something that I'm not supposed to be doing, I also will have to say lies, because I would have told the management, yes, I will produce 10 things, and I produce only one. So then for the other 9 things which I have not produced, I make up stories that X did not do it, Y did not do it, something did not come, all these things. So all these adharmic things are causing me. What does it cause? It is causing reactions. It is bringing me karma. Good or bad doesn't matter. It is causing karmas. So that's what he's saying is created karma patterns. So in the very first birth, we have done this, and now I came here with no karmas by doing stupid things because I did not follow my swadharma. I created karma patterns, and this is how the sanskara is formed. Along with my now the raga dvesha also is creating some karmas for me, because the raga dvesha is basically making me react, and that is also creating action, and that's also through that also I'm creating karma.
Kumarji,
Yes.
Swadharma is something that we are inborn with. Can you explain what Swadharma is?
Swadharma is that which you do. Like I said, if I have to become a teacher, I should be a teacher in school. If I have to be a janitor, if I have to be a toilet cleaning fellow, then I should be doing the toilet cleaning. Only then I will have that atmic happiness, that peace will be there for me. But when I do the toilet cleaning, I will do that with all focus, with all energy, with all happiness. Because no one in this world is less. A CEO is the same as the person who is cleaning the toilets. There is nothing, no difference. It is we who have made those differences.
Okay.
If you look at all the sutras, and if you read Bhagavad Gita, wherever you go, there is no place which says one person is high, the other person is low. Never. Even the Varna Dharma, where people are split into 4 groups depending on their thinking. We say Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So we made, what does it mean? Shudras are people who will just take orders and execute. That is how they are born. That is how the divine has designed those people. Who are we to question it? So we accept them because 60 to 70% will be Shudras. Not because of birth. Understand this clearly, not because of birth. It is because of thinking the person can be born in a Brahmin family and still can be a Shudra. That has nothing to do with birth. But unfortunately, that has been made into a caste. Shudra caste, Vaishya caste, a Brahmana caste. Just because a person is born in a Brahmin family, he is not a Brahmana. He can be any of the other three. And there is nothing wrong in that. So there are only four classifications. Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. There are only four classifications, and there are only four classifications. Because of our avidya, because of all these kleshas, we have made that Varna Dharma, which is based on the thinking of the individual, based on their attitude of the individual, based on the vasana of that individual, we have made that into caste. We don't want to accept a person who is born in a Brahmin family. Supposing there are four of us in my family. There are four of us. We are four siblings. So let us say one has a Brahminical thought, thinking. The other one has Vaishya thinking. The other one has Kshatriya thinking. My brother worked in the army. So he had Kshatriya thinking. Let us say another one had Vaishya thinking. And let us say I had only Shudra thinking. Will my family accept that all four are different? Especially, no, they won't. They will say all four are Brahmins, right?
Yes.
That is where the problem comes. So it is the problem of the parents. And why? Because the problem is because the avidya of the parents. The kleshas of the parents is making them speak like this. It is true of all these four classifications. So many, I don't know how many of you have studied this Nayanmars and Arvars, their life. If you see Nayanmars and Alvars, in the Nayanmars there are 63 Nayanmars and 12 Alvars. Arubatti Mover, that's what we say in Tamil for 63, right? Arubatti Mover, 63 Nayanmars. Nayanmars are those who worshipped Shiva. Alvars are those who worked Vishnu. So they are called Saivites and Vaishnavites. So if you look at this Nayanmars, most of them are not Brahmins. By lineage, they are not Brahmins. One of the most well-known is Kannappa Nayanar. He was a hunter. And you can look through the 63 Nayanmars, hardly one or two are Brahmins by birth. The rest are all not Brahmins by birth, but Vaishya, Kshatriya, Shudras. I mean, if you take Kannappa Nayanar, he was a Shudra. He was not let into the... There was another person called, I forget his name, but he used to be called Thirunalai Povar. Because he kept on saying, he wanted to go to a temple, and he was a very low, obviously he was Shudra, very low caste. So they will not let him into the temple. This I'm talking in the 7th or 8th century AD. Okay, the classifications have already come, and there were these untouchables, touchables, untouchables, all that. So he would not be let into the temple. But he wanted to go, but he was postponing, and so they called him Tirunalai Povar. I mean, who will say that I will go tomorrow? That's the meaning of this word name, Tirunalai Povar. Nalai means tomorrow, Tiru means Mr., Povar means go. This person will go tomorrow, Tirunalai Povar. So they renamed him as Tirunalai Povar. I don't know, I don't remember his birth name. But for him, he found it difficult to go to the temple because he knows there is a big Nandi in front of the Shiva Linga outside, and he can only stand behind the Nandi. He is not allowed to go beyond that because of his caste. So he cannot see Shiva. So he is praying every day that somehow I must get your darshan. And finally, that day he lands there, and this big Nandi is blocking his view. He prays, and the Nandi moves. And the Nandi moves a few feet. And if you go to the temple, even today, the Nandi is not directly in line with Shiva Linga. It is set apart. Not that somebody did that. It is supposed to have happened mystically. So there are many mystical things that have happened. That another one is this Abhirami Bhattar. Although there is no physical thing present today, like in Tirunalai Povar, Abhirami Bhattar said that on a full moon, on a new moon, on Amavasya, he said it is full moon day. This also, I think, I was studied in the class earlier.
Yes.
And because he is such a great bhakta, the divine intervened. And on that new moon day, on that Amavasya, at sunset, the full moon rose. These are siddhis. These will happen. It is not something somebody has come up with a story. Please understand this. I am an engineer. I cannot accept science. Only 2 years back, I digested this because I read siddhis in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and then I understood. Until then, I could not understand this phenomenon. So, having said all these things, please read the life of these great people. At least Alvars, Nayanmars. Alvars, one of the Alvars, out of the 12 Alvars, is Sri Ramanuja, whose 1000th birthday we celebrated last year. In Hyderabad, they erected a huge, some 70, 80 meter high statue for Ramanuja. I've seen that.
Yes.
It's very close to the airport too. Very close to Hyderabad International Airport. Ramanujacharya is responsible for that Visishtha Advaita philosophy. Just like Adi Shankara presented Advaita, Ramanujacharya presented Visishtha Advaita. We will see in 4th chapter in Kaivalya Padala, the last 2 sutras. The last but sutra is Visishtha Advaita. The last sutra is Advaita. 2 sutras, but it won't tell you it is Advaita Sutra. This is Visishtha Advaita Sutra. It has to be realized. It has to be understood. It is implicit. Because we are reading a very esoteric subject. So, in this picture, that's what we are seeing. how this avidya, smita, raga, dvesha and abnivesha are responsible for sanskaras, and how in the first birth we form this karma pattern, and then this fuels rebirth and more sanskaras and more sanskaras, and that is why we are here, wanting to burn off all these karma klesha patterns, karma patterns. We can get rid of all the kleshas. That way, we can prevent any new karmas from coming to us. What we call as agami karma. We can prevent new karmas from coming to us. But we still have a big bag of karma. Right? That bag has to be burnt away. So we have to do tapas to burn it away. And the doing of the tapas in various ways it can be done. There are karma klesha, karma klesha cleansing techniques that are there. That Dr. Rajan conducts. He was here in August, I think, July or August. He was here. I attended that too. Many of you, Geeta, missed it. I don't know, Sharanya is here today. She didn't come. I can only post these things here in WhatsApp. And if you don't take advantage of the opportunities that you get, I don't know what to say. Anyways, maybe next time you won't let go of the opportunity. So this is this picture which is there in your book, in that PDF that I have sent. After the Kaivalya Pada, there is a lot of reading material. Please read all that. This picture is also there in that. Okay. Any questions in this? Let me stop this and we'll go right to the sutras. One second. Oh, sorry. We're in the right place. Okay. Last week, where did we stop? 30. Reduce this a little bit. We discussed about Pratipaksha Bhavanam. I remember that. So Tarka Bhadane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. Yes, Vitarka Bhadane Pratipaksha Bhavanam. 33 and 34. 34 we stopped at 34. Right? No one remembers. Okay.
39, Guaji.
39?
Yes.
Oh yes, 39, correct.
Yes.
Yes. Stopped at 39.
39.
Okay.
Kapariga.
Okay. So instead of going all the way to the top and explain and catching up, I'm going to give introduction from. We'll just recap, not going all the way to the top, but from where we I will just start from the Ashtanga Yoga part. The first part we have revised enough.
Yes,
So, okay. So anyway, we have only about 18 minutes. So
18 minutes.
Okay, let me just quickly. Okay, in 27. Okay, that's where we. So he says, with all these kleshas and all that, how do we get over and get to the state of samadhi? He says, to do that, you have to cross 7 boundaries. Of this are 7-fold demarcated zones for intuitive knowledge, prajna. So you have to cross 7 boundaries before you will get to the state of samadhi. So he says, by doing, we can cross all this through the various parts of yoga that he is going to prescribe. That's what he says. It's Ashtanga yoga that's going to help us to get there. So, and then he states what are those 8. He says yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So these are the 8 parts or angas of Ashtanga yoga. So out of this, we saw what yama is. Yama is, we described yama as that which is the core of us, just the core of us. And then yama itself has 5 parts. And the first part, and the 5 parts are ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. Ahimsa is not indulging in wanton violence. Satya is speaking the truth, truthfulness. Asteya is non-stealing. And brahmacharya is the curiosity to learn. It has nothing to do with celibacy. And aparigraha is not trying to possess others' things. Covetousness. Okay.
Can it be called greed?
Yeah. From greed, the possessiveness starts. Greed or jealousy. They are all part of that. So these are the 5 yamas. We described all that. And he also says these are universally applicable. And kala samaya. So kala is epoch. Samaya is the time period in which we live. Annavichannaha. Anavichannaha means unbroken. It is unbroken by time. That's what he's saying. Unbroken by time. This yama is sarva bhauma mahavratam. So this is applicable universally, sarva bhauma, applicable universally. And it is a very great principle, mahavratam. It's a very great principle, very great observance. Pratham is observance. Okay. And then he goes on to discuss niyama. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhanani are the 5 niyamas. The niyamas are how we have established a schedule for us on a day-to-day basis. And out of this, Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Ishvara, Pranidhanani. We have already seen that. In Sutra 1, we saw that. That's how we started. For Kriya Yoga, these are the three components. Tapas, Swadhyaya, that is self-study, and Ishvara Pranaya, complete surrender to them. All these three things are needed. Shaucha and Santosha. Shaucha is cleanliness, both internal cleanliness and mental cleanliness, psychological cleanliness. Santosha is contentment. Only when there is contentment, happiness will come. As long as you don't have contentment, happiness will not come near you. If at all that happiness comes, it is temporary happiness. That is why that contentment is very, very important, to be contented. When I was growing up, parents and grandparents and elders will always say, be contented, they will say. Be happy with what you have. But that's very difficult. Just saying that is not enough, because you have to engage in certain practices. So these are the 5 niyamas. Niyamas are cleanliness of energy channels. Okay, of energy channels means of the nadis. It is the purification of the nadis. The nadis, that's why I said internal. Contentment, that is santosha. Activities that burn karma, that is tapas, karma patterns. Self-study, swadhyaya, and Ishvara Pranidhana, surrender to the divine. These are the 5 things. And then he goes on to say in the next 10-12 sutras, what we can do, what will we get by observing all this, right? But even to observe all this, there are blocks in us. Okay, 1 second. So, yamas and niyamas we want to observe, but what is blocking us from observing that? Vitarka badane pratipaksha bhavana. So we make some arguments within ourselves. Although we know this is going to cause some difficulty for others, or forget about difficulty, although we know this is an adharmic activity, our mind will tell us it is okay to do it. So we do that. So he says, by having an opposing thought, by having a pratipaksha bhavana, that is how you stop it. So in the next sutra, he is explaining a little bit more on this. So he says here, vitarka himsadayah kritakarita anumodita lobha krodha moha purvaka mridu madhya adhimatra dukkha ajnana ananta phala iti pratipaksha bhavanam. He says, we we bring all these things onto us by krodha, lobha, krodha, moha. That is the greed. Lobha is greed, krodha is anger, and moha is, they say delusion or infatuation or inappropriate understanding. That's what it is called. Very high percentage of desires. So based on these 3, we argue among ourselves in our head. Although we know that it may, whatever activity that I'm going to do is going to cause problems for others, is going to cause difficulty for others, although it's going to cause pain and suffering for others. If we engage in that, we are going to get karma. So, and this could be, this wanting to do this, the intensity of it could be, he's saying, mritu madhya adhi matra. Matra is magnitude. The magnitude of that could be, the feelings could be mridu, it could be light, it could be medium, or it could be very high. So understanding all these things will only bring more and more karma to me, if I can understand that, use that as an opposing force to not to fall a prey to this. That is that pratipaksha bhavanam he is saying at the end. Iti pratipaksha bhavanam. Understanding that and bring that, knowing that this will only bring me more misery later on. Understanding that and preventing these things from by not causing these things to others. And that will help me to stay in yama and niyama. Okay, yama, and like I said, yama is being true to yourself, true to your conscience, and these desires, lobha, krodha, moha, all that is going to take you away from that. So that's why he's saying this. So the pratipaksha bhavanam is not falling a prey to that and opposing it. That way, you stay away from that and be true to your yama and niyamas. And then we saw that in later sutras, that what will I get? Normally we have this question, right? If I do something, what will I get? This nashtam calculation. We saw this sutra in earlier part of this chapter. So he says, so he's saying, when you are fully established in ahimsa, okay, not here. This we have seen already. I went up by mistake. I went up to 35. Okay. So when we are fully established in ahimsa, non-violence, not hurting others, when we are fully established in that, what do we get? We get in its presence, we get this, there is no enmity. Vairatyaga, meaning there is no enmity for us. No one will be our enemy. Everybody will be our friend because we are not hurting anybody, correct? In any way, we are not hurting anyone. So everyone becomes our friend. Enmity is given up. There is no enmity through us. There is no enmity for us. When we are established in truthfulness, satya pratishtayam kriya phalashrayatvam. So when you are established in truthfulness, our actions are very effective. Whatever we do, it bears fruit. Because whatever we do, it is established in truthfulness. We are not saying any lies to promote us, nothing. It is fully, truthfully done. So everything bears fruit, whatever we do. Asteya pratishtayam sarvaratna upasthanam. When you are fully established in non-stealing, we are never touch anybody's thing. Then all precious things come to us. Automatically it comes to us. Many precious things come to us. It could be gems, it could be jewelry, it could be anything for that matter. Even people who want to go away temporarily to some place and they want to leave their jewelry, they will come and leave it with us because they know that we are beyond all that. We will never steal these things. We will never replace their gold with copper, right? Those things are also done, right? People do it because of that truthfulness and because of the fact that we are never interested in others' things. Brahmacharya pratishtayam virya labha. So when you are established in brahmacharya, that is the curiosity to learn, what do you get? you get enormous strength and vigor. That is what you get. Aparigrahasthairye janma katanta sambodha. So when you are established in a non-coveting attitude, that is, you are never interested in possessing others' property or others' things, one becomes aware of what life is. You become fully aware of what your life is, where we have come from and where we go. We cannot bring anything from above. We came with nothing and we will live with nothing. Why want others things? What is the DMK government doing today? They want everything of everybody's. That's what they're doing, right? Because that understanding of this is not there. Because there is no understanding of Sanatana Dharma. A very clear example of that. So this is where we stopped last week. So I will cover 1 or 2 sutras. They're already close to 7 o'clock. So Sutra 240, Shauchat Anga. It is Anga, Jugupsa, Paraihi, Asansargah. Sorry. So let us see. Shauchat. Shautas is cleanliness. You know that. Shaucha, we said. One of the qualities of, one of the parts of Niyama is Shaucha. Anga. Your own body parts. Your own body. Jugupsa. Aversion. Dislike. Paraihi. Paraihi is outside or untouched or I won't consider it, that kind of a feeling. Asansargah, not having contact with it. What basically this sutra is saying is Shauchat Swaanga Jugupsa Paraihi Asansargah. So because of cleanliness, physical and spiritual purification, one has aversion for one's parts and contact with others. See, the way you have to understand this is, if you have seen a priest or even elders at home, when they are doing some ceremony at home, and suddenly, let us say, they have a nature's call. So they have to go. They go finish up nature's call, and they will go have another bath. They put 2 buckets of water in their head, and then change their clothes, and they will come back. Right? So this is external cleanliness. Why they do that is, they think that there is some not great vibrations in the toilet or wherever they have to go to finish the nature's call, and that's how they do that. So main part is, it is to do with vibrations, and that is the reason the vibrations mostly can come from the environment, from people. That is why during these all these priests and elders, they will ask us to keep some distance between others, because these vibrations are the ones may cause disturbances. So you have elevated yourself to a certain level of vibrations, and you want to stay in that, as to continue to do these ceremonies and puja or abhishekam or whatever you are involved in. And that is the reason you want to keep everyone at bay, and even your own body parts, you have aversion to that. That's why when you go defecate or when you go to use the toilet, you again do a cleansing part and come back again. So that's how we take it. More of internal cleansing than external cleansing. So these body parts, when you say, all this nadis which are blocked, and you have taken great effort to clear them out by doing chanting or whatever. You want to stay in that instead of. So that's why when you feel any kind of negative vibrations with people around you, that is why apunya things we said, right? Ignore them. Not only the events, but also the people who are committing those apunya things. Never go near them. Never be close to them. Never have association with them. That's what it says. That's what we are bringing back here. That is the cleanliness we are talking about. So on that note, I'm going to stop it here. And then we will carry on from 241 next week. Any questions? I covered only one sutra today.
Yes.
But I really wanted to you to understand the PPT and the karma klesha things. I'm assuming that karma klesha block diagram that we saw is much more clearer now than last week.
Yes,
But you must do this homework. You have to look at it at home. Any question?
No.
No questions?
No, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. In the hello.
Yes.
Yeah. In the
Sumati,
last.
can you mute yourself, please? Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Madhu.
Yeah. In the last sutra, you said if they are not like kind of cleanness or what, stay away from means if they are your own family member, you cannot stay away from them. Another sutra, the Patanjali Sutra says, be an observer. If you are an observer, you cannot tell them they are not changing. Then what is the solution in that point?
Here also, he's not saying you go and tell them that they are unclean.
But stay away from them means if you are a family member, then you have to be close to them. Again, you will say, okay, leave.
You don't have to close to them, meaning you don't have to go and hug them all the time, right? Huh? And if you know a family member is having a lot of negative vibrations, don't go to their house. Why do you want to go to their house? If I know somebody is committing apunya and they have negative vibrations, why will I go to their house, even though they are very close to me? I won't go. That is vidya. But if you raise to the level of a yogi, where you have unblocked all your nadis, everything is gone, your avidya has gone, you are nice and clear, then it will not affect you. Even if you go near but even if somehow a person with negative vibrations comes near you, you will know he or she is having negative vibrations, and you'll stay away, and it will not affect you. So it is necessary for us to stay in that state. You cannot say, oh, I will go and embrace all these negative vibrations people because they are my family. You cannot do that. It doesn't matter whether they are your family or somebody else's family.
Not embracing, but how to adjust with them. My question is that.
That's what I'm saying. If you feel the negative vibrations are very high in that place, don't go to that place. You cannot go there and complain. You are getting affected because your nadis are fully not clear. Your avidya is high. You are not able to accept. So don't go.
Okay, sir.
So, see, again here that compassion has to be there. Karuna. Let them lead their life the way they want. Each chitta has the freedom to live the way they want.
Hmm.
And you cannot ask every chitta to do
Whatever
things the
you.
way you want it to be. Yes, you cannot do that. That is foolishness. That is avidya. That will only bring pain and suffering to you.
Hmm.
Whoever engages in that, if I do that, that's what I will get.
Mhm.
Mm. Acceptance. I also sent an example of acceptance, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
I could have just blown my top that day, correct?
Yes.
What is that understanding? What is that acceptance? That acceptance is okay, fine. That chitta. I don't look at my wife as a body. I look at her. Okay, that software for some reason
Mm.
feels justified in saying this. So be it.
Mhm.
See, on a laptop there are 10 icons. One icon is doing something. The other icon cannot say this icon should do the same thing that I am doing. Can it say that?
No.
Correct?
Yes,
Cannot.
sir.
Is it not foolishness?
Mm.
Same thing here. Two different icons. I'm on icon, she is another icon.
Mm.
How can I expect this icon to behave in the same way as the other icon? Then why would Prakriti even launch this chitta? There is no necessity. So you have to ponder on all these things, Madhavi. When I say you, I'm saying all of you.
Mhm.
Mm.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Good question. Very good question.
Thank you, sir.
We have to apply the sutras to our life every
Mm.
day, every moment.
Mhm.
Yes. Only then that growth will come. Only then that clarity of life will come.
Mhm.
Only then the relationships will really blossom. Only then the relationship will become a loving relationship.
Mm.
Until then, it is a relationship of attachment, of expectation. If I had blown my top the other day, what does it mean? I am expecting the chitta to behave in a way that I want it to behave, correct?
Mm.
Is there not expectation in that?
Mhm.
Then it is not love, it is only attachment. But because of our avidya, he said many things. Impermanent things we think of permanent, impure things as pure,
Yeah. Mhm.
anatma things as atma, atmic things.
Mhm.
Similarly, we think attachment as love.
Mm.
Why am I attached to my wife? Because it is convenient for me to live with her, because she will cook for me, because she will take care of me. Vice versa too.
Mm.
I have, over the years, I have found it very comfortable.
Mm.
Mm.
And a human need a companion, not for some other. At one point we need a human as a companion for different. At 20 you need for something. At 35 you need something. At 50 you need a companion at
You
home.
have forgotten all that block diagram we saw in the first part of the class.
No, I remember, sir.
You remember?
Mm.
Why you need a human being right next to you is because that connectivity with unmanifest divine is gone.
Mm.
That is why you need one person next to your right hand, one person next to your left hand, one person in front of you, one person behind you. All these things we need.
Not that many. At least you need one person at home to share.
That's what I'm saying. That also is not needed. If the connectivity with unmanifest divine is there, that also, supposing, supposing I pass away,
Hmm.
What happens to my wife? She has to remarry?
That is her choice.
That is her. Supposing she doesn't want to remarry, she has to
Hmm.
be in sorrow and suffering?
No.
No. She has no
But,
companion. What will she do?
but a couple of days we will be in sorrow. Then when life come to normal, then we will think, okay, this is our.
See, my father-in-law passed away in 96, 97, so around that time.
Mhm.
My mother-in-law passed away 2 years back,
Oh.
almost 25 years later.
Hmm.
25 years she's suffered.
Hmm.
25 years she suffered.
Hmm.
Because of attachment.
Because of attachment. She could not let go of him.
Hmm.
Every my father-in-law's birthday, I think, every birthday,
Hmm.
my wife and her sisters all will will call her and try to soothe her because my mother-in-law will be crying.
Hmm.
So to the external world, it looks as if, oh, what a wonderful woman. She's still thinking of her husband like this. Correct?
Hmm.
So this, but see the suffering that person is undergoing because of avidya.
Hmm.
What she has not understood, that first thing in avidya, he says impermanent as permanent. Correct?
Yes, sir.
This life is impermanent.
Hmm.
How can you? She was been imagining that it will be permanent forever. It will last.
Hmm.
I'm giving this an example. This is true of so many, right?
Hmm. No, at the same time, I'll just tell my story. My father passed away when my mom was 36, and we are 5 siblings. My oldest sister was 18, my youngest was like 4 years old. My mom lived up to 70, but she raised all of us, and she remembered my dad, but not that much. Like she went into her responsibilities, and at the age of 36, she did graduation and got a job of my, not as same job as my father, and but same government job, but a little bit lower one. And she did graduation when she was 36, and she did all of our marriages. And but she didn't remember my dad, I cannot say that, but she remembered. But she cleared all her responsibilities properly.
Yeah, the same thing with my mother too.
Hmm.
My father passed away in 89, 89, no, 88.
Hmm.
And my mother passed away in 2019,
Hmm.
or 31 years later.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
My mother was 63 or something like that when my father passed away.
Hmm.
63 or 64, something like that. Okay. So, yeah, my mother was in grief,
Hmm.
but she gathered herself up, and then she continued to do whatever it needed to be done. By the time all of us were married and settled in our own lives,
Hmm.
but she led a long life. She was 94 when she passed away.
Hmm.
But she was not struggling like my mother-in-law.
Hmm.
But what will the world say if you take my mother-in-law and if you take my mother? The
Hmm.
world, how will they compare them? They will say, "Oh, look at this Kumar's mother-in-law. How
Hmm.
she is missing her husband. What a wonderful lady. She was
Hmm.
so devoted to him. Look at
Hmm.
Kumar's mother.
Hmm.
She forgot about her husband. It did not affect her that much
Hmm.
because the relationship was not that great. Whatever.
Hmm.
This is how people will gossip.
Hmm.
But actually, what is the right thing? A person who can let go
Hmm.
has vidya.
Hmm.
Mm. A person who is unable to let go has lots
Oh.
of avidya. So anyway,
Hmm.
so why I came to this is, so the choice is there. Supposing the choice is there, fine, but I don't want to get married. I want to, for whatever reasons.
Hmm.
But then I struggled all through my later life, like my mother-in-law.
Hmm.
I want people, but I don't want to get married, or I have to live with my. So then what happens? I become a burden for my children. I have to go and live with them because I cannot live alone.
Hmm.
Uh, Why am I not able to live alone? Is because that connectivity with UD is severed. Only when that connectivity comes back, or I start working on it, then only then I can live by myself.
Hmm.
So this is very needed. If I can live by myself at the age of 60 or 65 or 70, I can also live without anybody at the age of 7 or 8 or 10. Adi Shankara took up sannyasa at the age of 7.
Hmm.
His mother was there for a while,
Hmm.
but he was not living with his mother. He was doing all his work.
Hmm.
Okay, Adi Shankara is an exception, accepted.
Hmm.
So what I
But there
understand
is
is,
no necessity that there has to be somebody for us. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm.
Yes, there was somebody else was asking a question.
so yeah, so what I understand is, so your mother or Madhavi's mother had an opportunity to connect with the unmanifest divine, but whereas if it is taken as suffering, they don't see the opportunity to connect with the divine. So that's why you're saying that as an example, right?
See, whether my mother fully connected with the unmanifest divine, I don't know.
No, I'm saying there is an opportunity. That's it.
There is an opportunity right there. Like I'm saying again, I do not know if my mother was fully connected with the unmanifest divine because she still wanted to live with her children and all that, and it happened that way. Supposing there were no children, all the children were living outside of India, they could not come and live with her, and she doesn't want to come to here, live here. Then what happens to her? How would she have lived? I don't know. Maybe she would have suffered because children are not there. Anyway, husband is gone 30 years back or 20 years back, whatever it is. How my mother would have coped with that situation, I don't know. I'm sure, knowing my mother, because she was pretty attached to the children, very, very attached to the children, she would have struggled. So, in one case, the attachment moved from the husband to the children. In another case, it did not, in my mother-in-law's case, it did not move to the children fully. It was still attached to the departed soul, to the deceased. Both are not great. That's all I'm trying to tell you. One suffered because could not let go of that relationship of the deceased. The other could not let go of could let go of the husband of the deceased, but clung on to the children. In both cases, it is not a great thing. That's all I'm saying. We have to rise above all that. You understand, Saranya?
Okay.
So I don't know. I have not looked from my mother. I know. That's why I'm able to say this. Madhavi's mother, how she lived, what was her internal thing that was going on, I cannot comment. Okay, that's only people who knew her very, very closely, and if they have evolved, only then they will know. If they have not evolved, it is very difficult for them to say anything. So how do we see people? See them as just people. Don't get attached to them. Don't get attached to them. See people as chittas. Let them have that freedom. We are trying to merge with that chitta. We cannot merge with that chitta. We want to possess the chitta. We want to be with the chitta all the time. It's not possible. It is two different software. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So these kinds of beliefs that a partner is needed, somebody is needed, those are all the beliefs and assumptions that keep us down from connectivity. Many beliefs like this, many assumptions like this is what prevents us from connecting. And that's what drains us also of energy.
Okay, one question I'll ask you. Maybe next time you explain it, sir, because I don't want to take your yoga class time.
No, you can ask this question. I'll finish.
Yeah. Because if you don't have connectivity, suppose then how do you do your duties? Suppose my kids are there, I won't have any connectivity with them or attachment. Then how do I do my responsibilities as a mother? If you have love, my mind like there, my mind raises two questions: do your duty, and the other one says, okay, you are doing your duty, but you are getting affection and attachment to the son or daughter. So how to calm down the mind there?
No, I'm saying
Mm.
have love, not attachment. See, I have grandchildren in Dallas.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So if my grandchild has a fever,
Mm.
immediately my wife will get a fever here.
Ayyo.
Because of attachment.
Mm.
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 When I say fever, she will. I'm not saying she will immediately get 100 degrees temperature. I'm not saying that. She
Mm.
will literally feel that.
Mhm.
Mm. And that is treated as a great quality, right?
Mm.
Mm. That is why we are stuck. Not understanding.
Mm.
That is not a great quality. Empathizing is fine.
Mm.
Mm. But becoming that itself, is will only bring us sorrow
Mm.
and pain.
Mm. Just have karuna at that and leave it alone.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Inquire,
Mm.
that is fine. But every half an hour calling and finding as the temperature comes down. Those kinds of things I'm saying.
Mhm.
Or every 1 hour calling or sending a message or whatever.
Mhm.
Those kinds of things.
Mhm.
That is misinterpreted as love.
Mm.
Mm. That is misinterpreted as great affection. How you
Okay.
must treat your children? You must
Mm.
treat your children exactly the same way, the way you will treat your neighbor's child.
Mm.
Mm. You are treating the neighbor's child with detachment, correct?
Yes, sir.
Mm. That is the test.
Mhm.
Mm. It doesn't come immediately, but you have to ponder on this, work on this. And whenever there is a opportunity that comes your way, practice this detachment. That's how you grow. In every activity in life, there has to be this attitude of detachment, vairagya abhyam.
Okay, sir.
I make a sambar. And the family, we have invited people, they all come and eat. If I'm attached to this sambar, then the moment I serve sambar, I will be looking at each and every one of them, wanting to know how they are going to appreciate me. If I am detached from that sambar, I will just leave that sambar and I will sit with them and I will also eat. This is clear.
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
Very clear.
Until tomorrow.
No, until I get your recording and listen again, it will be clear. Slowly I will implement, sir. I promise. Slowly I will follow.
No, you have to keep on thinking about this every moment. This detachment has been there every moment. We have this wrong understanding of life. That's all I'm trying to tell you. We should not be living life for others, what they will say, what they will do, what they will comment. But most of our life we lead like that. What will my children say? What will my in-laws say? What will my sambandhis say? Now, this is how we are leading our life. So when you start thinking outwardly, you cannot hear your conscience. Okay, on that note.
Thank you.
Namaste to all of you. We'll see you next time.
Namaskar, sir.